Hi, this is Adrienne Barbeau. Just call me Billy. Everyone does. And you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.
All right, we're back. Welcome to Without Your Head Horror Radio. I'm Nasty Neil. Although I might be Marvelous Neil tonight. I don't know. Oh.
You're marvelous.
Yeah. I'm joined by my right-hand man and my left-hand man, Jittery John.
That would make me Terrible Troy.
And right off the bat, we have the guest here with us. We have Randal Malone. Do you have any nicknames?
Well, from MTV, they called me film star Randal Malone. That was Kevin Undergaro, the writer's decision. Because when I joined the cast of Singled Out on MTV's, hit game show, he said, I want you to be whom you are. And I was frightened. I said, what is that, darling? He said, a film star. And then I was happy.
Oh.
So from that moment on, it was called I was called, the character on that show, Singled Out, was called Film Star Randal Malone. But I'm happy to be with you this afternoon.
Excellent. It's nighttime where we are, afternoon where Randal is. Well, everybody
I'm in Palm Springs, darling, at a reception.
Yeah, no.
He has us trumped on that one.
Yeah, I'm here, Cape Cod. It's cold. It's raining out.
Yeah, it's pretty yucky.
It's raining there. How unfortunate for you.
But my day's brightening up now since we have Randal Malone on the line.
True.
Well, very
true.
kind of you. Very kind. On the floor? On what floor? Listen to marvelous, darling. Go ahead, darling.
All right, I just want everybody to know that it came out on DVD last week, so you can get it pretty much everywhere. It's Dahmer versus Gacy, your newest movie. Do you want to? I think it's kind of self-explanatory, but do you want to explain to everybody the premise of the movie?
Dahmer versus Gacy. First of all, when the studio, which was Angry Monkey Pictures, brought me the script, I was enamored by the title. Mm-hmm. Dahmer versus Gacy. Mm-hmm. You guys too. I can imagine. I can just imagine.
Definitely.
And I said it's intriguing. It's innovative. It's ambitious. Mm-hmm. So ambitious. And then as I read, as an actor, you read it 3 times. You read it for content. You read it for, what your character will play, whether you will or won't, or what you think. And then you read it for simply entertainment, just amusement. And I was pleased with all 3 efforts. Mm-hmm. It was very innovative. It was very amusing. And I thought it was so ambitious as a script, so I decided to do it.
Yeah. So did you have, was it as much fun to actually play the character or was to read the script?
We had a ball. Well, the director was, Ford Austin, who is an actor by profession, but he loves to direct, and he loves making movies. And he told me it was going to be with Jerry Maren, who played one of the Munchkins in The Wizard of Oz.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
He plays a mime in it. He's the lollipop of, the famous, we represent. He plays the one who hands the lollipop to Judy Garland. I was thrilled. I
didn't even realize that was him. That's awesome.
That is he. And it was a dream. He plays the mime, and I get to kill him. It was the first time he'd ever died in a picture. And I was delighted to kill him. He was absolutely marvelous. And he was 90 when we shot the scene. He was wonderful. I loved him.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of history.
He's so good in the film.
Oh, yeah. I love the scene when it starts. It's in black and white, and it's...
Yeah, that was perfect.
Yeah, it's good times.
Yeah, they want to set a mood, for, I guess, for the character and for the entire mood of the film, the artistic thing. That's not my job, but it was really, really done well, I feel. And then, of course, the script is, the 2 most heinous, infamous characters of serial killers, John Wayne Gacy, played by me, and Jeffrey Dahmer, played by Ford Austin, are generated through DNA in a secret government lab. There's only one problem. They escape. Mm-hmm. And the premise of the film begins. They wreak mayhem and carnage across the globe, and that's the premise of the picture. I won't tell you about the showdowns. I won't tell you about the end. You'll have to go and see it. Or actually, buy it or rent it on DVD now. Because it's through playing the theaters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's always best to buy the DVD.
Oh, you'll love it. Well, I hope that you love it. I hope that you enjoy it as much as we enjoyed it making it.
I had a lot of fun watching. I liked
did too. I really did.
It built up to the big...
Oh, you're both very kind. Thank you. We had a ball making it. It was absolutely marvelous.
Mm-hmm. Is there any stories off the set that come to mind?
Well, I'll tell you, I was tatted because John Wayne Gacy was, let's say he was jovial. Let's say, I'm watching my verbiage. He was heavy. He was very heavy. I don't want to use the FAT word. He was heavy. So they tatted me for the role. And Ford said, do you want to do your own stunts? If you don't, we can have. I said, of course I'll do them. Mm-hmm. And he bounces me off walls. And one of the showdowns, and you saw it, I bounced him off walls and the whole big thing. And he said, that was great. Can we do it again? When he jumps off a table on top of me, and it didn't hurt. Mm-hmm. Because of the padding. Normally, it would have smashed every major organ, but it didn't hurt because of all the studio stuff they had put in me. And you know how it is when you have studio stuff put in you. And it was absolutely marvelous, and we had a great time filming those scenes. We had a great time filming. It was shot. My favorite scenes were shot in a mansion in Toluca Lake. All of it was filmed in and around Los Angeles. But this mansion had been the home of the guy who was the creator of the Beverly Hills. Bit of trivia there. And I thought that was very interesting.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So there's a lot of history in the movie. You had that. You had one of the original Munchkins.
Munchkins, Jerry and Maren from the original Lollipop League played the mime who was killed. And incidentally, my opinion, I think he gives one of the strongest performances in the motion picture. I really do. Mm-hmm. And all my wonderful friends have said so.
Yeah. Now, I wouldn't have had
to be 90.
Yeah, 90. I looked that up today. He's 91 now, 90 when you filmed this.
I can't believe it.
He turned 91, January 24th. He had a marvelous birthday party here in Los Angeles, which we all attended, but was 90 and could still dance, could still mime, if you will, could still act beautifully, never missed a cue, and it was a dream come true working with him, really.
Yeah. Now, did you get to keep the clown suit?
You are so clever. My suit and my makeup was designed, by Ron Carcasta, who was absolutely wonderful, so detailed. He designed it, from pictures and from footage of John Wayne Gacy. John Wayne Gacy, as part of his ruse to lure, what he did, he was horrible, to lure young men, he would play a clown named Pogo. And he had actual pictures that he gathered in terms of his data and actual footage. And he designed the makeup and the costumes to the letter, to authenticity, as I say. And at the end of the film, it was amazing. It was actually amazing. Because when you're doing, comedy or it was a dark film in terms of the scene, the carnage and all the stuff. But it was also done, it's a tough blend. It was done as an actor. It's because it's done with comedic formula. Mm-hmm. You're playing these serial killers, but you have to do it with some flair. So you find the proper mix. But he did it beautifully in terms of our look and in terms of the costume. And at the end of the film, Ford said, "Why don't you keep the costume?" And I said, nice. Really? Yeah. So it will, it goes in my archive. I was thrilled to have it.
Yeah. Have you ever put it on since?
No. I haven't, because I don't have the padding for it.
Oh, exactly.
If I put it on, you'd be able to see me from where you are. You would think it was it was a weather balloon or something. You say, "Oh no, that's Randal Malone. It's John Wayne Gacy." No, I haven't, but I do see it frequently. Whenever I go into the wardrobe closet there at my house, it's hanging there in clear plastic. And because I love the film, and I love the experience of working with everybody in it. Ethan Phillips, and they were all Jerry. They were all great, and it's wonderful when you work with not just good actors, but actors who are also having a good time. Your audience cannot have a good time, my friend, unless you are having a good time while making the film.
Mm-hmm. I myself
and we were
to wear it. I don't think.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah, I think it was pretty obvious that they were having a good time in that.
We were having a ball. I loved it.
Yeah.
It's great when you can, and I know you do the same thing in what you do. It's great when you love going to work every day.
Mm-hmm. Now, Ford Austin, you mentioned he directed. He also played 2 roles in the movie. What was he like to work with?
Wonderful. A consummate professional, and absolutely on his cue, on his mark. Everything. He always told the truth with every line he delivered. He plays the part of Ringo, which is a kind of a redneck hillbilly type. And I said, it's so honest. It's so real in those scenes. And he said, you know why? And I said, because you're a good actor. You researched. You worked hard. He said, no. I based it on my brother-in-law. True story. And I said, get the hell out, Ford. And he said, no. I mimicked and I studied and I based the character of Ringo on my brother-in-law. And I said, get the hell out of my trailer. But it's true. He really did. He and his wife, Lori Dash, who is an Emmy-winning producer, are very, very dear friends of mine and my family's. And they are so wonderful. And working with them was a dream. But Ford is such a professional in every way, directorial, as well as his characters. That's what makes your job fun, too. When you're working with people who understand what you're doing and you understand what they're doing, and you blend the two. You meld the two talents, and it's really a wonderful experience.
Mm-hmm. This is a true story. I went out to eat earlier today with Troy, and we were talking about the movie, and he mentioned that he didn't even realize that the same guy played Ringo and Dahmer in the movie until he saw the credits.
Yeah, I had no idea.
That's
really
interesting that you say that. Yeah, that's fascinating. And thank you for mentioning that. Well, that's how distinct and thorough the creating of those roles were. You would not see, he was completely believable as Dahmer. And he insisted on that. He worked very hard. And yet it was such a contrast when he played Ringo, his brother-in-law. Right down to the green underwear.
Oh, that was awesome.
I said, were they green originally, or did they turn that way? And which frightened me. It really frightened me. But he said, no, they were green because that's what his brother-in-law. I didn't ask him how he knew that. I was afraid. but he did. He did know that. It was marvelous.
Did Harlan Williams, was he ever on set, or was he just a voice?
He was a voiceover. I only met him twice. But he was so talented. He is so talented. And, of course, to work with Steve in the film. He actually came to my house a few times in the early stages of the film. Someone slamming the door, pardon me. He was wonderful. Steve from Guns N' Roses.
Huh. Yeah, I saw that on the little write-up about it they sent me.
Oh.
I had worked with Guns N' Roses before in my MTV days, and I'd actually done a film with Tracy Guns called Sunset Society. So I was, familiar with all those guys, but they loved to have fun. Trust me. But having Stevie in the film was terrific. He was just so good.
Now, I don't want to spoil a movie for anybody, but probably my favorite part is when finally Dahmer and Gacy front each other and just like the speech that both guys are giving. How fun was that to film?
Well, obviously we loved it. It was. I'll tell you what it was. It was difficult because there was so much exploitation because you're describing each other's character from a different character. Like I'm describing what he did and what a stupid, jerk he was in terms of how I said, you actually ate him? And he goes, how stupid are you? You buried him under your freaking house. And so we're doing the exploit, but you also have to do it with in character, and again with a formula of comedy, with this comedic thing going on. So we rehearsed and got to a point where we would have to stop because we're laughing. in between, the setups, the different setups. They set up for a close-up, they set up for a long shot, but it came off so well. And as you know, in England, that particular episode of the film received critical acclaim.
Really? Oh, I love it.
Oh, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
I got to say,
I'm so glad you did. It shows you have amazing taste, my friend, and your panel.
Not just because you were here, Randall, but that was like you just stole the movie at that point in time when you came in and you struck like the hand on hip pose, and then
that was the character because he often had his hand on his hip and everybody else's. But I mean, please, and then the base of it too. Good night, darling, you look marvelous. But I'll tell you, Ford said, keep doing it just this way. Mm-hmm. And now we're going to reshoot it, with a setup where you're going to do this and that. And we worked diligently as actors on that. And I'm so glad you enjoyed it. And I'm so glad all the people in Europe did too, because I was hopeful. I was hopeful that, as you say, that scene would be a standout.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because it's the first time you speak in the movie, too, at that point.
That's right. Yeah, we saved it because we were, how if it's a monster or if it's a villain, how you save for the audience because they're all wanting to see. They're all wanting to be afraid. They're paying to be afraid. Always remember. And so we saved it until that scene, and then we let it rip in a big way, and we did.
A couple people in the chat room have a couple of questions. Robbie wants to know, what are your thoughts on other serial killer movies and the real-life Gacy?
Well, I'll tell you, there are words describing, but we're in front of a radio audience. Horrible. Deplorable. What he did was absolutely despicable. And here's the interesting thing in my research for John Wayne Gacy. A lot of, you think, how could he have been so heartless? I was very young. When it happened in 1978, when all this was exposed. And I remember, this is the truth, I remember having nightmares about it. How could he take life? How could he do what he did and actually take the lives of these young men that worked for him, that he picked up? Some of them were homeless and confused. He'd pick them up on the street. So anyone that's homeless and confused, beware. But he did, and he took their lives so easily. And when they did, their whatever psychological analysis, it was because in all my research, he didn't wish to go to prison. He had been in prison. He had been incarcerated for just what he was, a molester. And he didn't ever want to go back, so he would silence them through death. Death is very final. And they'll never know because he didn't talk about it. He never admitted how many there were. There were 32 buried under his house in the crawl space, but there was other victims of his, without doubt. There's just no question, found in the river. And he never talked about it. His last words were, "Kiss my ASS." He didn't think they should kill him. Mm. He didn't think they should kill him? Good Lord in heaven. Mm-hmm. And when they examined his brain, this is the epitome of, they thought maybe there was something wrong. Maybe there was a chemical imbalance. Maybe he was what in today's world we know as bipolar. Maybe it was normal. Mm-hmm. There was nothing remarkable. There was nothing extraordinary about his brain, gentlemen. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So there you have it. So in other words, he was horrible. Right. He made these choices. He was just despicable. Mm. And to make light of him, and we didn't glamorize him. We made light of him. We made actual fun of him, and we had a lot of fun doing it. But he was notorious. And because his fame, long before the movie was written or shot, his fame had already reached epidemic proportions because of his heinousness. Mm-hmm. So it was all there for us to make light of.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, Astro Creep, he wants to know, what would Randall's dream role be?
Well, that's That's a very good question. After I did Dahmer versus Gacy, I was approached by Sterling Entertainment to do the role of Frankenstein. I'd always wanted to do it.
Wow.
My entire career. I've been very lucky in my work, but I had always wanted to do the role of the Frankenstein monster. And it came at a time when I was swamped. I was doing 2 films, and I told David Sterling of Sterling Studio, oh my gosh, I can't believe, I'm so happy and so thrilled, but I can't right now because I've got 18-hour days. How in the world could I fit it in? I'd love to. And he goes, you know what, which is very rare in Hollywood, gentlemen. He said, I'll table it till you can.
Wow.
And I said, David, you are marvelous. He did, and I did the film. It's called Frankenstein Rising. It will be out soon. And since I've done it, he has asked me to do 3 more.
Wow.
Not 3 more
And to
Frankenstein,
play,
different 3 more Frankenstein films or other films?
3 more Frankenstein. Yes, sir. I'm sorry.
Oh.
3 more Frankenstein films. So I'm delighted. I hope I can do it. Got a busy schedule, but I'm very, very ecstatic and just enamored by the thought because I love Karloff, and I loved all of those Universal films, and of course I grew up watching the Hammer films on late night TV, never dreaming, never realizing that I would be a late night cable. I didn't know they would ever have 300 channels or whatever they have, and that all my films play on late night TV. But it's all a miracle. It's all a dream come true, and I look forward to playing the Frankenstein. I look forward to all of you. I hope that you will call me when Frankenstein Rising comes out, because I love doing that film.
Oh, I'd love to see that. And,
me too.
Here, so we'll be calling you back.
I liked it so much. I went to the studio. I went to David Sterling when he actually had tabled the project. He had bought the property, tabled it, which I said was kind of rare in Hollywood because they want to get on with the money, the show. And I said, I just can't. I just can't right now. Wish I could. And he said, well, we'll wait. And I went to David, and I went to the director, who was Eric Swasted, and I said, I just did a picture a few months ago called Dahmer versus Gacy with Jerry Maren. And I read your script that Monty Hunter had written, the screenplay, and I said, is there any way that Jerry could play the part? And originally it was called the Igor part, but in this film it's called Malin. And they said, can he do it? I said, can he do it? Oh, my God. Of course, he was amazing. He opens the film, and they had Margaret O'Brien playing Mrs. Frankenstein in a beautiful guest star part. But here's the real killer diller. Are you sitting down, people?
Yes.
Are you sitting down?
Yes, sir.
The great silent film star, Anita Page, does her last role. She has since left us. Does her last screen performance in a career that spans more than 70 years.
Wow.
She plays Elizabeth Frankenstein. When they told me about the part, they said, we understand that you know her. And I said, I do. And they said, is she well enough? I said, well, she loves to work. She's well. I mean, she's 98, but she, for what it is, yeah. And they said it's the part of a 103-year-old Elizabeth Frankenstein, played by originally Mae Clark, whom I knew, by the way, and a lady, an elderly lady in bed. And I said, perfect for her. Absolutely written, tailor-made for Miss Page, and she got the part. She never missed a cue. Well, she loved to watch herself in color. And I told her, I said, in today's movie making, they're shot in color. And she said, marvelous! She thought everything was marvelous. She thought her breakfast tray was marvelous. Darling, this is marvelous! And she did it, and she was wonderful.
I got to ask about somebody because we have him on the show, and here I just looked it up. It was March 2007 when we had him on. Conrad Brooks, and he did a movie with him. If you had any Conrad Brooks stories.
Conrad Brooks. Oh, my gosh. An icon left over from the Ed Wood days.
Yeah.
I was doing a film. It was written by Ron Ford called Hollywood Mortuary. And we were actually shot at a real mortuary and in a graveyard called Grandview. Thank you, God. Grandview Cemetery, shot in 1997 or 1998. And Conrad Brooks was brought in to do his scenes, and he was wonderful. He was charming, and he was wonderful to work with. And I just, I had never met him until that time. It was brought on the set. There were several other people brought in, but he was great. And I had heard so much about him. See, Johnny Depp and I are from the same hometown, Owensboro, Kentucky. We're both born there. And, of course, he had been a part in terms of, I guess, a consultant on the Ed Wood picture. And he was just wonderful to work with. I really loved Conrad.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that he's doing well and that he's still here today. And he loved, by the way, Hollywood Mortuary.
Mm-hmm. He's actually
he told everybody he was the star, which was completely untrue. I am the star, darling. But he was marvelous in it.
He's actually in the Ed Wood movie too. He has a little bit role. I think he plays the bartender.
He's the bartender. Yes. Yeah.
Yes, and he loved to talk about Ed Wood. And as I say, they consulted him because he was one at the time and still is was one of the few people that actually knew and worked with the great Ed Wood. Mm-hmm. So who better to ask or consult with than Conrad?
Mm-hmm. I think he's the last living person from Planet Nine from Outer Space.
I would think so, or very, if not the last, very, very much one of them. Yeah, he's terrific. Mm-hmm. He's terrific. I'm so glad that he's doing well, and I haven't heard, but I'm so glad we talked because I need to call him up and wish him well. He was terrific.
All right, I'll get you in contact with him if you like.
Would you please?
Definitely.
And give him all my best, and he has my number. Have him call me.
All right.
And if not, where he lives there, it's on the restroom wall. In my writing, of course. And they can all phone me.
For a good time, call Randall.
That's right, call Randal Malone. 818. I won't give the rest. They'll have to go there and find it. 648. No, I won't say it.
Oh, yeah.
27. No, I won't say it. I'm kidding. They almost got it, though, didn't they?
Mm-hmm. If anyone wants to pay
somebody's calling that now.
Oh, no! I hear beeping on my end on my personal number. No.
No, you yourself, are you more of a horror movie fan or a comedy fan?
Well, horror found me. I loved horror, obviously, as a kid growing up. As I said, I loved all those wonderful Peter Cushing and Lon Chaney Jr. films. I loved the Universal and the Hammer, all of them. The international pictures, what was the Studio International, But they were so wonderful. And I knew I was going to be an actor, but I never dreamed because I'd studied, Shakespeare and musical theater. And did a lot of musical theater live through the years. But after MTV, when the horror films found me, they came to me. I did a film called Sunset After Dark, and it received all these awards at film festivals, and then they got another offer. And then different studios, different directors started coming to me, and it became what they call the niche. And the niche, people say, well, I found my niche. Well, my niche found me. And I loved it, and I loved the life that it brought me. And it was, as I said, it was fun going to work every day. It still is. And I was so blessed. And, I love it. I love, being the king of, what they call drive-in pictures and the late-night cable. And I love doing them. But, I was just very blessed. And I hope to continue with the Frankenstein genre. And I hope to do many other horror films. Horror films are always accepted, because they're lovely date movies for, guys who go on dates with young girls. The young girl snoogles up between you. And they're also, people like to be scared. People love to set up late at night on cable or any late night television. They love to be afraid. Mm-hmm. So they've always had a niche. Horror films have always been successful.
Mm-hmm.
True.
Well,
I'm lucky.
Why do you think horror and comedy go together well?
Well, people love to laugh.
Mm-hmm.
It's two emotions that you just can't get enough of. Being afraid or being startled, with all the twists and turns, or gore if you will. Mm-hmm. And of course, who doesn't love to laugh? Laughter is the best medicine. Laughter is something that we all crave, from the time we open our eyes in the morning. Mm-hmm. It's a laugh. You're joyous. So if you're lucky enough to combine the two, horror and laughter, you've got a real treat there that people are going to enjoy to see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, we want to thank you for coming on tonight, Randall. It's been a lot of fun, and we want everyone
It's been my pleasure, gentlemen.
Excellent.
And now that you have my number and half of the world almost has it, I would be delighted to be on your show again, and you were all just great. Thank you.
Thank you, man. And
awesome.
Yeah, everybody know it's Dahmer versus Gacy. Go get the DVD. Just buy it. You can rent it if you
Dahmer versus Gacy. And remember, audience, don't watch it alone. That's right. Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Thanks, man.
This is Michael Kenworthy from Return of the Living Dead Part 2, and you're listening to WithoutYourHead.com.